You did what's right. Well, coming from you, that means nearly nothing. And number 56 on the list, it's Serenity. Welcome to Long Play Video. Welcome to Long Play Video. Nice Saturday night. Shop's quite crowded. I think people are interested in this, although it does seem a certain type of person that's interested in this, has to be said. But we'll leave that for later. But yeah, we're going through my 100 favorite films. We're up to number 56 in the list, which is great. Cracking, getting to halfway. What will we do afterwards? Just eat all the gelato, close the shop up. But at number 56, we have a film. I'm really interested to know what you know about this film. The film is called Serenity.
Yeah.
Do you know anything about this film?
I know nothing about this film.
Wow.
So, yes.
Okay.
This is well.
This is it's gonna be a difficult one. I don't want to give any spoilers, but
I feel like we're going down an Andy film rabbit hole.
This isn't. A double feature. These two films would not be watched back to back. So let me pass you. First of all, let me pass you over the DVD, and you can just have a look at what the DVD tells us.
Yeah. Okay. When was this? When was this film released?
2005.
No, this is a ridiculous cover for 2005. Or maybe this is what happened in 2005. I just can't remember how bad it was. Well,
19 years ago.
That's mad. So yeah, for those who haven't seen a DVD cover, I guess. So Serenity. So there's 5 people standing in, I guess, what looks like a desert. An explosion going off behind them all. There's a woman in the background with a gun. There's another woman in the background with maybe a sword. There's 2 guys in the background with machine guns. Now this is funny. So the women are wearing hardly any clothes, and the guys have got leather jackets on. So obviously the weather was the weather was changeable. And then at the front and the foreground, there's a woman with an axe and a sword in a karate pose or something, ready to basically destroy everything by the looks of it. So the pose looks okay, but it's
lots of leather jackets.
Lots of leather jackets, yeah, and leather as well everywhere. Yeah, I mean, the poses look all right, but it's weird. It just seems weird that they're all in a desert, and that seems a bit strange. But yeah, okay. So then that's Serenity. So from the mind of Oscar-nominated, I mean, I'm not sure that this is ever a good start. Should a film description start with a brag?
Humble brag,
and then not from Oscar-nominated, from the mind of. As if it's been extracted without his knowledge. From the mind of Oscar-nominated writer-director Joss Whedon, TV's Buffy the Vampire Slayer and Angel. I mean, with those 2 credits, what more could you want in life?
Also, it's funny that it starts with Oscar-nominated, not Oscar won, but Oscar-nominated, and then talks about TV rather than what is actually the Oscar nomination is for. Which is actually Toy Story, funnily enough.
Interesting. Maybe that doesn't quite work with the thing. It's been nominated for Toy Story.
Are these people toys?
Yeah. So it comes a new edge of your seat. Oh my God, this is terrible. What was going on in 2005? It comes a new edge of your seat adventure, loaded with explosive battles, gripping special effects, and fantastic new worlds. When the renegade crew of Serenity agreed to hide a fugitive on their ship, they find themselves in an action-packed battle between the relentless military might of the totalitarian regime that wants her back and the bloodthirsty creature who roam the uncharted areas of space. But the greatest danger of all may be on board their ship. Well, it looks interesting. I think I'm going to like this, but it also sounds like it's a terrible film. from that
we're
description.
we're back to a couple of random quotes as well. We've not had random
Yeah.
quotes on DVD covers for a little while. I
Oh my
think
word.
it's been a while. But
Yeah.
dvdtimes.co.uk has been a harbinger of great movies to us all. I'm sure there's just under Roger Ebert, I think,
Yeah. Close. Yeah.
dvdtimes.co.uk.
Yeah. Wow. Superb. Yeah. and then
Yeah, that's all they
and
say.
then
Superb.
and then an absolute blast. Who's this guy from CBS TV? What on earth? Yeah, those are terrible quotes. Considering it opens up with Oscar nominated and then it delivers dvdtimes.co.uk. Yeah, weird. So I don't think I recognize any of these people. They look like, oh, maybe one of them's a TV actor. Um, is there anyone famous in this?
Yeah, well, Nathan Fillion, the guy in the guy who's furthest forward, you probably know
Yes.
him.
Yeah, he's in like TV films, I think, right? Yeah, I've seen
Yeah,
those
yeah,
films.
yeah,
Yeah.
TV programs. Yeah, so he was
Yeah.
in. Oh, now I'm gonna have to name them. He's in that one where he's a cop.
Yeah. Isn't
No,
he in like?
he's in Castle. Have you seen that
Yes,
one?
that's it. No,
I think is he
I've heard of it.
Australian? No, I think
Is
he's
he?
maybe Canadian. I think.
Oh, oh, that's all right. At least it's not American. They wouldn't have enjoyed that. And is anyone else famous in it?
No,
Can't
not
think of
really.
anyone else. And he's not even famous, really. Well,
No.
there we go then. Well, I'm going to be interested to see why this is on your list. So, all right, then. So 2000. Oh, hold on. Did you say 2005?
Yeah.
Oh, yes. It's a re-emergence of 2005, Andy. Excellent. Oh, that guy.
That guy's back.
He's the best. You know, going out in his shell suit.
That was a bit earlier, I think.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm starting this this different
The
image of
rumors.
yeah, exactly 2005 Andy is. Okay, so yeah, so do you remember when you first watched it? And yeah, what's it? Yeah, why
Well,
is
so
it on the
yeah,
list?
so interesting. So you know nothing about this. If I said the
Ah,
TV series Firefly, would that mean anything to you?
no,
Okay,
I've seen it.
completely,
Yeah,
completely noob. So
yeah,
yeah, but basically, Josh Whedon, who obviously now appears to have been a little bit of a bad guy on set, but yeah, sort of
really.
Buffy and Angel.
Uh,
Yeah. I was very into Buffy and Angel. Funnily enough, actually, I wrote my university dissertation on vampires and the vampire myth, and I actually quoted Buffy and Angel as sources.
oh, dear.
So even then, I was trying to cram TV and pop culture references into things,
They
which is
say that university is wasted now. I
you
mean,
know, what that is just that really put me on my career path.
yeah, as a vampire hunter. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I got a first for it, so it couldn't have been all bad.
Okay.
So,
Yeah,
so
well,
yeah, like so early 2000s, he basically writes this TV series called Firefly, which is supposed to be kind of like a sci-fi western, as well as almost sort of pitched as this is what Han Solo would have actually been like sort of before Star Wars. So it's
yeah.
sort of it's got that kind of vibe about it.
Yeah.
It's on Fox.
Yeah.
Fox decides that the series isn't what they want or isn't very good. So they decide to show all
Yeah.
of the episodes in the wrong order for some reason. So
Like,
it's a
like this actually happened.
yeah,
This deliberately
yeah.
happened.
Yeah. Because I thought that the first one didn't sort of set the people up to well enough, and it wasn't action enough. So they do it all out. So it starts to get a bit of a cult following because of Josh Whedon as much as anything else. And then I think it's like 11 episodes into the 14 episodes that they'd planned for the series. They just cancel the series and sort of take it off.
Yeah.
And the sort of fan uproar from this is so sort of great. There's petitions, there's all sorts of stuff, and it's a reference that is in like Big Bang Theory, it's in Family
Yeah.
Guy, it's in like so many things. It's actually a bit of a sort of cultural moment. It's sort of
Yeah.
known as a really popular show that's then cancelled, even though it's really popular, kind of like Arrested Development. To be fair, like sort of same sort of similar sort of situation where it's just like really niche and really cult, but really popular.
Yeah, but is it are they actually popular? That's what I think, because I think they're popular within cult followings, right? But because
Yeah.
if they were still popular, networks wouldn't take them off. They're not like, no, I don't really like that show, I'll take it off. They don't care. They're just all about the money. So if it's actually popular, I feel
Well,
like
yeah, but back
the
in the day,
following said it's
yeah,
popular, but that represents 0.0001 of the population of the world.
yeah, but back in the day, you could sell that 0.001% of people with DVDs and posters and everything else. So this is one of those where, yeah, there was instantly a cult following. Everyone kind of got the DVDs and the Blu-rays. So kind of the story is,
Sorry, just on that before we finish then. So, how much did it cost, and how many people went? How much did it recover?
no,
What was
just
its
it just
box
got
office?
huge. Yeah. Oh, so the budget allegedly was 39 million, but
Yeah,
that's
okay.
because so at the end of Firefly, apparently Joss Whedon just basically said to everyone, look, like just hold on for like 6 months. I will make a film that sort of finishes this story. And they used all the same sets, they used all the same
Yeah,
costumes, they used kind of everything just to kind of almost finish the story that they had
yeah,
started. And even now, like, yeah, so allegedly 39 million budget, only made 40 million at the box office, but then
yeah,
has that cult following that there are now comics, there's a role-playing game, there's, if you went to Comic-Con, you would see people probably in
yeah.
cosplay and kind of all of those things. So
Okay.
so there is like a sort of, yeah, a cult following, a mass following of
Yeah.
this film as like a continuation of the TV series.
So I feel like it's does 2005 Andy like this because it was for the underdog and it was like we're fighting against the system.
Yeah,
Or
so
is it
so funnily
actually a
enough,
good film?
yeah, no, so like 2005, Andy is not really aware of any of this
Yeah.
going on, to be honest with you. And I was
Classic.
trying to classic 2005, Andy. It just wasn't aware of anything. So no,
Yeah,
so I didn't kind of know anything about this. I don't think it had, because 2005 sort of still interesting, isn't it? Because it's still kind of the beginning of the internet
I guess so.
culture,
Yeah,
right? So this is all going on in the US, and really,
yeah,
like, we obviously in the UK especially, like, had sort of a lot of US influences in the culture, but it wasn't so
yeah,
ubiquitous. It wasn't like taking
mm,
everything over. So you still had to, like, you would find out about these things probably like a year or two afterwards. So yeah, it was kind of fun enough when I started going to the US. I kind of found out about this more, and I remember actually. So I bought the series of Firefly and the movie on Region One DVD rather than Region Two, because I bought it in the US because I'd heard about it. I think
yeah,
from one of our friends in the US. But I have this
yeah,
sort of. I really remember going into Best Buy, which I used to do all the time when we went over to the US, and
yeah,
to buy like a bunch of DVDs that we couldn't get here.
yeah.
And then like now obviously you can buy it here and stuff like that. So I had it in, and I think that was probably around 2008, 2009, maybe
Yeah,
2010. So it was a little while afterwards. And actually I watched the film and
yeah.
then went back and watched the TV series. So
Did
you
you
are
watch
gonna
it in
kind of.
the? Did you watch it in the Josh Whedon order or in the Fox Network order?
Yeah, I think the DVD box set is in the right order,
Yeah,
but then, like, all the characters, so that's sort of almost then because of watching it
okay,
in that way, the series then almost becomes prequels,
yeah,
so the narrative isn't as much, but there are a couple of bits in the movie that get explained in the TV series. It's not that you have to know the characters, but I would say that there's a couple of sort of underlying yeah, like the love interest story, and like who all of the people are on the ship. I think is yeah, sort of, it is explained more in the TV series. So
okay,
but then it's sort of funny because obviously then the DVD cover doesn't mention any of this. right? The DVD very much is like playing it as though it's a film, just completely,
Nice.
from fresh, and there's nothing that goes before it, which is interesting because you would have thought that they would have pitched it to the fans, because actually the movie's made by Universal rather than Fox. And so it's weird in a way that they're not like sort of saying, the continuation of Firefly, the cult classic or anything like that. So it's sort of a bit of a strange one as far as kind of how they've marketed it anyway.
And so, did they use exactly the same actors then that were in the TV series in the film?
Yeah.
Oh wow, they did. That's incredible.
Yeah. So they got so it is more or less a direct continuation.
It starts off with from the mind of because they're just like, this is, you might need to watch the TV series beforehand, but whatever, this is just something from Josh. Let's see what happens. So do you think you have to watch the TV series then beforehand?
Well, so I didn't, but I would say sort of, I think I watched it the first time. I then went back and watched the TV series, which is a really good TV series as well. I mean, especially if you like the movie. And then I watched the movie again, and there are some bits that just sort of some of the world building. But because I think if you watch the movie, it's very much like Star Wars, right? It plonks you down in a world, and you have to then figure out what are the rules in this world. If you watch the TV series, you basically the same thing happens, but you have a TV series, so you have 11 hours to figure out everything.
Yeah.
So
okay. So is it on the list with a specific memory or reference, or is it just you just like the film and it was a good film, or is it the underdog story?
It's the underdog story. No, I think it's a really good film, to be honest with you. Like, it's really interesting in a number of ways, because I said to my brother, this is a better Han Solo movie than Solo, which obviously which didn't, funnily enough, he kind of agreed with. He actually doesn't mind this movie, thinks it's a good movie. That's why he's not here, because it just wouldn't be as amusing if we're not arguing about stuff.
I feel like I'm going to have to start getting direct quotes from here, because I feel like you're putting this propaganda out, and I'm like, okay, so Rob did like this. And does he like this, or is this just lies from you?
Oh, is that the phone going in the shop? No, we'll just ignore that.
What's that banging on the door? Who's trying to get in?
The shutters are down. Sorry, if you're not in by the start of the pod, we're not letting you in. So that is, you've got that, and then actually. Like it's so it is sort of a sci-fi western, so there are a lot of western themes. I'm not a big western fan, because I just don't really think that most of them are kind of based on a 50s and 60s mentality, which I'm not not a big fan of. But like, this is also it's kind of telling the story of what happens. And this isn't sort of, me thinking it through or anything. It's just what Josh Whedon actually says. But like, if you're in a war and you're on the losing side, where do you go, and what do you do? And like, this is kind of, it's kind of based on a little bit of a book that I think he read that was like, well, what about the people in the Civil War who were on the losing side, who then just sort of, went west and basically just kind of tried to survive. And that's kind of, that's sort of quite important to know, is that there were two of the characters, so the captain and the first mate, sort of served together in sort of the army on the losing side. Which maybe is there any dialogue to explain that? I don't think there's, but like that's quite it's quite just important to know, and you do pick it up. I think it's funny enough. It's sort of thinking back, I'm not 100% sure what happens in the TV show and what happens in the movie and what's like explained, because there are some really good scenes, but I think
that doesn't often bode too well. It's not often that you think, oh yeah, the TV is as good as the movie and has high aims.
Well, it just all sort of melds together. But no, the TV show, the TV show won a bunch of awards for effects and stuff like that. It was, I mean, it's way before prestige TV, but again, like the entire point of it is like, it's almost sort of, it is a bit more rugged. It is a bit more
Yeah.
like they use handheld cameras a lot. You know, it is supposed to be a bit sort of dirty and kind of, you know, that kind of, you know, again, like Star Wars New Hope, you know, sort of,
Yeah.
okay, yeah, the universe is a bit dirty and is a bit sort of run down
Yeah.
unless you're in like the, yeah, you know, unless you're with the main
Yeah.
group of people that, yeah, are at the
Yeah.
center of it.
She'd made it. Yeah. That does seem to be a
Yeah,
common
exactly.
thing,
Yeah.
doesn't it? I watched is it Angel or Alita Battle Angel?
Okay.
Or
Yeah. Yeah.
and that's the same thing as well, isn't it? Set in the future, and it's like, yeah, it's a real dirty world apart from one part of it
Yeah.
that's been saved, and just all the rich people live there.
Yeah. 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 Well, that's, I
Yeah,
mean, that's just the West, isn't it?
yeah.
That's
I was gonna say,
basically,
is that just like a theme of real life
yeah,
just
exactly.
being played out
We
in
are in
movies?
Hunger Games. We just live in the
Yeah,
capital. Yeah. So yeah, there were two
okay,
scenes at the very start of the movie, which I
yeah,
think like just Josh Whedon kind of showing off and like, yeah, kind of, yeah, like the first scene in the movie is basically like three overlapping realities, which just like, yeah, you watch it and you're just like, okay, yeah, that's pretty cool. And then after the first scene, there's another one which is almost a one shot,
yeah,
one sort of,
okay,
yeah, one shot, sort of, yeah, sort of 2 minutes. That is
yeah,
just super. It's just super cool and is just sort of
yeah,
visually very stunning. So, like they do sort of set the
okay.
set the movie up really well, you know. And it is, yeah, you know, it is a, you know, sci-fi western, so it's not particularly deep, and it's, you know, it has a few
Yeah.
questions, but like it is supposed to just, it is just entertainment and, yeah, just fun. And yeah, I really like it.
So what makes it a Western then? I'm trying to think how sci-fi adds Western into it because I always think, I guess, is this where the desert comes in? Just because,
Yeah, I think
yeah,
that's what they're trying to, yeah, portray. And like, you know, the captain calls the ship a boat, and you know, he's got his sort of, yeah, his kind of six shooter on his hip, and he wears sort of the long
okay,
trench coat, and it's, yeah, there is just a Western sensibility to it. And
yeah,
when they
okay,
go, like most of the planets are desert planets and
yeah,
stuff
okay,
like that. And it is, I think, sort of almost, you know, a little bit of centralized authority against, you know, the sort of the outer
yeah,
planets and the outer, you know, whatever they call it. And
bandits, yeah,
yeah, exactly. Yeah. Banditos. So
yeah.
yeah.
All right. Well, it looks interested. How is it? It's an hour and 59. Oh,
It
this
goes through
is,
because he'd
yeah.
planned, I think, 7 series. So there's a lot of story in that two
Wow.
hours, because he tries to get it. Yeah, he tries
Wow.
to get it all the way through to tell the entire story, which I would
Yeah.
say, like, I would say, yeah, it does also have Chiwetel Ejiofor, who
Hmm.
I just think is great in everything that he does.
Yeah.
And so, like, yeah, not to talk too much about him, because yeah, he's
Yeah.
just such a presence on the entire film. And I think
Yeah.
yeah, it's the one that you sort of, yeah, you rave about. But I think it was after another movie that I watched of his that actually was sort of almost the tipping point when I was like, okay, well, I will actually get to this, because I'd known
Yeah.
about it for a little while, and I'd known about the Firefly stuff. I think there's a couple of references in Family Guy, so I sort of, yeah, asked and found out about
Yeah.
it, but just hadn't. It sounded very cold and very
Yeah.
niche and good, but
Yeah.
like, yeah, just into,
Yeah.
yeah, it was just busy. And then I thought, oh, okay, well, I will actually go and see that.
So yeah. All right. Well, I think yeah, this is going to be interesting. Yeah. I don't think there's many sort of sci-fi or space cowboy-esque films that I've seen that are cowboy, space and cowboy that have been good. So we'll see if this actually is any good. So yeah, all right, cool. Let's get it on.
Yeah.
Oh, there's
Yeah.
a nice like flow on from the list actually. I don't know if you noticed this, but obviously we've just finished off Gifted just before
Yeah.
this, and the boat in Gifted, his boat is named Serenity. So I didn't know if you deliberately
Nice.
link these or whether that
That
was just
was, yeah, of
yeah.
course. I've definitely put that much thought into the list, and not just randomly sort of, yeah, thought up things. So
Just yeah, this will be here. This looks like a number 56 film. Yeah, this should be here.
this is definitely my 56th most favorite film of all time. Yeah, great. Well, we'll put it in. No coming in. I'll do the predictions by myself. You go and get yourself a gelato. Let's go's not allowed in for the prediction this time. What do I think? I think he's gonna like this movie. It's a cult classic. It's got the sci-fi tropes. It's a little bit funny that it's sort of sci-fi and western, but it's got a lot of funny one-liners and action. I think it moves pretty quickly. So yeah, even without the background, I think he'll enjoy it. And then yeah, will it be good enough to then go back and watch all of Firefly? I think it will be the main question. So yeah, we'll see after the jump.
Four is it's just not a good film.
I can't believe it. This is Fire of the Sun. All of the ingredients,
all over again.
All of the ingredients are there. I thought that you'd really like this one.
I know. I thought the same. For me, I don't know. It's really hard to tell because obviously we did the first half and we covered off that Firefly and we covered off that it's basically it is a TV movie, right? It is a TV movie, and so I don't know if it really felt like a TV movie to me or because I knew it was a TV movie, it felt like a TV movie. Do you know what I mean? I don't know if it was chicken or the egg. Either way, it definitely, when I watched it, I thought this is a TV movie. This doesn't feel like an actual movie. It's just the reason I didn't like it in the end was it's just overly complicated. It's so over complicated. It's just way too much stuff they have going on that they don't need. At one point, it's a film within a film within a film, and I was just like, that's unnecessary.
It's only in the opening 3 minutes where they're doing that, and that's
Whoa! Let's just cover that comment again. It's only in the opening 3 minutes that they cover off a film within a film within a film. Who does that in the opening 3 minutes of a film? It's ridiculous.
I think that's really good. I think that's a really good piece where you're like. You think that because I know I really like because with the voiceover, you think, oh, there's going to be a bunch of exposition, which for me is like a bit of a cheating way to do it. We're looking at you, June, but like they go from the voiceover to the fact that actually it's they're teaching the assassins to then the fact that like the shock to go to the hospital to then. To sort of press pause and Chiwetel to walk through.
Just you saying this is already too complicated, and you've seen it. It's awful. Way too complicated. There are too many things they're trying to get across. They're doing this, then they're doing that. Then we're trying to save her. She's important. Then we're trying to go to this planet. Then we're trying to find out about this random. Actually, it turns out, there was this virus. And it was like, oh my God, there's just too much going on all the time. And then
that's that story. That's called.
No. It's overcomplicated when it doesn't need to be. And then also in between, it's just boring. There's like dead times as it goes on. I'm like, these characters are so dull. What's going like the desert scene? I'm like, this is awful. Can we just make this end? There was one of them where I can't remember. One of them dies. And they even dragged that out, and I was like, God, even the death scenes are painful. This is ridiculous. This was not, I really wanted to. This is one of the films I was thinking, I wish I had 1.5 speed, or maybe 2. The last 30 minutes was a real chore for me. I had to actually stop and do it in 2. I really didn't like this film.
Wow, that's that. Oh, again, completely. Didn't see it coming. I wonder what this an Empire of the Sun is. That I mean,
a lot of people have lost some money now. A lot of money.
the side action in Vegas, betting Kev likes these movies or not, it's just gone into meltdown. But no, that's super interesting because I mean they do, and obviously I saw the film and I'm sort of thinking about it from the first time that I saw the film, so I didn't know the backstory. And they do sort of drop you into the middle of the world and sort of the middle of the universe, and just you have to sort of figure it out as you go. And I do really like, I really like that because it just sort of. They're not explaining everything, and you kind of have to, there's not that much exposition and stuff, and you have to go into it. But I think it actually, for me, it like moves quite quickly because like, I actually kind of, I pressed pause that like after half an hour, everything is established so that then you kind of know, you know who everyone is, you know what
an hour and a half of boredom. Because
they
tried to do a film within a film within a film in 30 minutes. And then
there's no other films within a film once you get outside of the opening scene. That's literally the only time they try it, right? Wow.
Well, that is the only time they tried it. Yeah, that is true. I think if they'd have just they concentrated on her, and then they concentrated on her being a psychic, and that, and I was like, oh, this is going to be the thread that runs through the whole film, and that's what's going to be useful. But then her character is like basically completely like dead for like the first 30 minutes or maybe an hour.
Yeah.
Her character, in fact, for most of the film, her character is actually pointless.
The main character, yeah.
No, but weird because they set it up at the start that she is, and like she gets the escape and all that, and you're like, okay, and then they just try to detour you away from it. You're like, well, hold a minute, what's going on? Then all of a sudden, there's the other dude, the Parliament dude's there, and he just hangs out by himself. He's like, obviously Darth Vader. There were so many like Star Wars connections. It was ridiculous. But then even Darth Vader hangs out with other like dudes. He's got stormtroopers around him all the time. I was get bored. Space.
Does he hang out? Does he hang out with them? Is there an extended scene where Darth Vader's just?
He's like, he's got Barry and George. He's like, hey guys, come on, we're going down the pub. Yeah.
Anyone up for a quick one before we go?
Yeah, exactly. Oh my word, no! And then the acting was fairly wooden. It's not great, and there are some good actors in this, but it's not for me. Yeah, it was, the thing that I liked the most about it was it had a sword. That's one. that was it.
It's funny at the end when the message is he killed me with a sword. How weird is that?
Right. Yeah, I like the opening scene actually when he does that. The opening fight scene is very good. When he kills that guy and he leaves the sword on the floor, and then the guy falls onto the sword. That's brilliant. And obviously you got the metaphor there of fall on your sword, and that was great. And then after that, it just rapidly goes downhill. But I don't know what. So I guess you still liked it after you watched it again.
It's still just like I mean it's action and one-liners and there's nothing. I don't think there's too much sort of beneath the surface, but it is still I still found it sort of it does move quite quickly. You go to like different worlds quite quickly. Like obviously it is sort of based around the crew. And that is like with Firefly kind of coming into it, and it's sort of difficult now. I mean, I've seen it a few times, but obviously the first time I watched it, I hadn't seen Firefly. Then I've watched Firefly, then I've gone back to it. But like all of the different members of the crew kind of have their storyline, and obviously that is more explored in Firefly, even though it's sort of 7 or 8 episodes. So like I think. Watching it this time, definitely like the shepherd character that they go to, and in our the sort of she is a courtesan in the show, like the people who aren't on the ship. Obviously, for the TV series, in the TV series they are on the ship, so therefore you get more of their sort of background story. So I thought for those two, like you might need it, but apart from that, it is it is about kind of the group on the ship, just trying to get by, just trying to make ends meet in a world that they shouldn't do because order is sort of coming for them, and they're sort of trying to operate on the fringes, but like you've still got that friction amongst them all, and all of sort of the different characters kind of coming together, even though obviously sort of Mao is the main character because he is the captain, and he is sort of who it's based around. So
I just think I didn't fall in love with any of the characters. I didn't really feel like there was good depth of their backstories. I wasn't like really that fussed about them, and they're just the crew. I was like, mostly people can die now if they want. I don't think change the film too much.
They could just lie down. I mean, the point on the backstory is an important. Is obviously, like, yeah, they don't go into the backstory of them too much, like, because I think you find out like halfway through about Mao, like being in, sort of being in the war and volunteering, and kind of, some of his stuff is mentioned, but I guess, you get more of the backstory and why people are on there when when you've seen the series, so I mean, and interesting, as we said in the first half, like they don't sort of tee it up as, from the creator of Firefly. Even on the DVD cover, they don't talk about Firefly, they talk about Buffy and Angel, whereas obviously the film maybe is for the purists, but also like people who would then go and find out about Firefly, because there isn't the exposition, there isn't the explanation of stuff. So I think that's fair enough critique of the film, but like, that for me just lets it move quicker. Like if you would have had to have had like an explainer for each of the characters and why they're there, then it would have slowed it down quite a lot.
But, true. Yeah, I mean, you couldn't have done it all. But do you know what I mean? I just didn't feel connected to anything. And then it's not like it's a real action, film where, okay, you just see, this person's the gun person, this person's the knife person, the sword, or whatever. And actually, they've all got their own quirks, and that's how you sort of, get more connected with the characters. They're all just felt fairly bland, I think. Even River's probably the best character that they could have been in there. She has obviously all these extra like skills and things that she can do. And she's basically almost like a mute for like half the film. And I'm just like, what's going on here? She's got so much that they could do, and they've just done nothing. It just seems strange. And then, like I said, it just felt there's too much going on, and then it was just really slow as well. I feel like they crammed loads into positions. And then he was like, right, I've got the money. Let's do this scene quickly. Let's get together a big space scene. Like, we'll cram story in quickly and then do a space scene. And you're like, oh, this is just, I don't know. For me, this is not a well-written film. It's not well constructed. It doesn't pace nicely. Yeah, I really did not enjoy it at all. It was, I mean, people are probably guessing where this is going to be going, but
all those once fans are worried that they're going to lose.
Exactly,
I mean, because to a certain extent, you're not wrong. Like that is kind of, they wanted to tell the entire story and kind of get in what they wanted to do throughout the rest of the series. But it's interesting. I'm trying to think back to when I first watched it, but there was enough of it to then obviously make me sort of want to go and watch Firefly, because I did think it was quite cool, and like go and find out. I cared enough about the characters, I think, because of the one-liners, and because I found it quite funny and everything like that. And then once you sort of, having watched Firefly, then the film, I think, the operative Chiwetel is kind of what makes it then special. I think he's really good as the bad guy, because I think what they do well with that, in kind of in a comparison to Star Wars, is like he thinks that he's right, and that he is like, he even says at one stage, like, there's no place for me in the world that I'm creating. But I believe in creating that world so much that I will do, I will kill children, and I will do whatever needs to be done. And it is kind of, the Darth Vader comparison is definitely there, but like it's explained a bit more, and it's a bit more like, you know what, I can be evil because I believe me doing evil is for the greater good, and I'm going to sacrifice myself for that, which I think is explained in a much better way than in most sort of setups like this. So
I think that you should watch this film again, and you should see whether this is actually a good film, and start really questioning your list, because if this is 56, and I'm getting worried, this is down the bottom for me. I don't know. I don't know how you think this is a good film. It's just
I'm
so
surprised
much
by that.
bad things in it.
I thought that with all of the action and, you know, there's explosions, there's been loads of, and funnily enough, I mean, obviously, yeah, comparing it to last week, and I was thinking,
exactly.
Gifted, he's not gonna like this one, but Serenity will be fine with, because it's being in your will. You're a very complicated guy. I've obviously, I've been thinking that your taste was going to be too simple, and
maybe this is when you realize this is actually the bot that I was actually doing these podcasts, and I'm just sitting in the lounge watching something else. And the bot is actually giving you bad pod reviews. Yeah, I mean, it had like, I just don't. It did feel like a TV movie, and what I mean by that is that even like the action sequences, they felt very much like, right, we've got 2 billion, get everything into this scene and get it done. The action wasn't spread out, I think, nicely. It was all rammed into just like one or two times. And it was just, and then I think for me, then they dragged a bit. It's kind of like, I'm thinking about this actually, it's almost like an unfunny Red Dwarf. It's almost like that's what.
Oh, I mean, I think that's a oxymoron anyway, isn't it? Unfunny Red Dwarf is. Is Red Dwarf actually funny at any point, or is it just?
Yeah.
I can see the comparison, because it is about the crew and it is about like how they interact. But I just thought that there's more to it, and because you've got all of the different relationships, because they drop you into the universe, and like they do have, I mean, most of it is established. And I think, for me, it still just works as like an entertainment. Again, it's not a deep film, but it's just entertaining and moves at a clip because you've got everything. It's interesting that you think it's both slow, but also and too fast. So that's interesting.
Yeah, I just think that when it felt like they crammed too much in at short periods. And so that they could then have these longer special effects scenes and the fight scenes and things. So it felt like they're crammed in. The other bits are crammed, and then those bits are extended too much. And it just the flow did not. I didn't like it at all. I'm really surprised as well that you said that Rob likes this. I think I'm going to have to get an official quote from him just to confirm that he actually says this is a good film. And didn't you say that he thought this was better than Solo?
Yeah. I mean, Solo's obviously just rubbish. So that's not the bar that we're holding it up against. But there's quite a few of our guests who like this, and it's interesting because obviously, like, you didn't like it enough to now not want to go and watch Firefly. But I kind of wonder whether, like, having the background of Firefly would make it better or worse. But that's the thing, like, obviously the way that it's set up now, it has to be good enough to then want you to kind of explore. And if it doesn't hold up to that,
I think if they'd have just kept with River and they hadn't have included the whole extra, actually we were trying to make everyone placid, and then they just became too placid and died, and then 10% of them became super aggressive. I was like, it's just like added in another layer of like, why did we have? So why did they did the whole thing about River they didn't need at all, and then the whole like first 45 minutes it's all about getting River out, getting her onto the ship, looking after her, making sure she's fine, making sure because she's a special one. Well, then it's like, well, actually, that's completely irrelevant. It doesn't matter because the big thing is actually there's this big virus that they created and blah 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 blah. So,
they only know that because of her, and that's why they want to get her back, right? Because they say, oh yeah, you know, major members of the parliament have overseen her, and he's like, so you've put all of the members of parliament in a room with a psychic, and that's why she's so disturbed, is because she knows that that's the secret that they're hiding, that can bring everything down because they're trying to control people. And that, I think that, you know, that is where then the sort of just a little bit of the extra layer comes in, is about, you know, the control from government and how much the government should control, and the fact that, okay, yeah, well, we're terraforming and then you can move there and it would be great, but they're going to put something in the air that's going to make everyone a bit more docile so that they don't, so that there isn't any crime or anything, and again, it's that like, people trying to make a perfect society always end up doing stuff that you just really shouldn't do because you're trying to make it in your own image and get rid of all of what you perceive as bad stuff. So because that's why they want to get her back. And then the fact that they've picked her up and they're, again, it's kind of they're almost sort of forced into being the heroes, because actually it's just sort of bad luck or not even bad luck or good luck. It's just like a sort of quirk of fate. But it's just a quirk of fate that they're on that ship, right? And so they're put into that position, like they're not heroes. They weren't looking to bring down the government.
The way that you're describing it makes it sound better than the reality of what I watched. I think it is. You maybe should have been an executive producer on this or something, because
I needed to do the exposition at the start. But that's interesting because all I've got that from is watching it and then watching Firefly and then watching it again.
I think you're getting more from it than I am. For me, it's not that I didn't connect with the characters. I think they overcomplicated the story, and then obviously the scenes, the action scenes are the action scenes with River are actually very good. She's very good, but the other scenes they don't look brilliant, and it's all a bit like it does feel a bit like a TV movie.
Well, the brown coats, as the fans of Serenity and Firefly are known, they're going to come for you.
Yeah.
There's a lot of them apparently.
Yeah, of course there are. Yeah.
I think as long as you stay in the sun, as long as you stay in the sun, I think that you'll be fine. They probably don't leave their bedrooms much. So.
The bedrooms, no. I mean, this was one of the things I said about questions that this asks is, should people power be allowed? Like, should people be allowed to actually say, no, I can't believe it's got cancelled, and then this is what happens. We get this sort of film. That's why they don't do this anymore.
There wasn't any sequels or anything that they had planned for as well, which is actually why, funnily enough, the two people who do die in it, they die because they weren't able to commit to sequels, and so that's why they were killed.
Wow.
Which is why actually, like, it's funny because one of the criticisms of it is actually that they die and it's not drawn out and you don't really see anything for it. And a lot of people online are actually really unhappy about that because Wash, especially as the driver, he dies and there's sort of very little emotional impact from it.
Yeah,
because they've just got to keep going.
Nicely. Yeah.
So your critique is the opposite of what a lot of other people's criticisms of the film are.
But I guess I could understand that, because if they've watched the TV series, they've fallen in love with these characters, and then they feel like, oh, I can't believe that character died, and he's just like gone. It's like, well, yeah, it's a film. You can't spend like 30 minutes on a character's death in a film.
Yeah,
you've got to move on, especially if it's not the main character.
Yeah,
so,
and the Reavers are coming after them, and they've got to get. They're in war. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
So I mean, I can't wait to hear how you're going to explain it to the aliens. Then, if you're you're so anti it,
I'll just put it's rubbish. Don't watch it. That's what I mean. Sometimes you just got to say how it is. They need to know sometimes this happens, But they'll be like, oh yeah, we got it. We know it's Annie's list. We know these things happen.
Well, it's funny with the list because obviously the higher that we get, the less of that you will expect there to be one that you really don't like, and then obviously it's anything around the 90s, if you don't like it, you're like, well, it's fine, it's the 90s. But now we're in the 50s, you're like, oh, what?
This is why this was more of a shock.
Wow.
When we were talking about this and it was 2 hours, I was like, okay, this will be all right because it sounds like a good film. And then I was like, oh my god, I can't believe it's 2 hours long.
What am I gonna do?
Well, how do I keep getting stuck into these scenarios? How did you describe it to the aliens then?
I went with just making it a bit more ballsy and said, well, this is what we're capable of, so don't mess with us. Obviously, that could work both
Could be a lot
ways.
of
They could
things.
be like, now having watched it with your opinion, they'd be like, yeah, we don't want to mess with these people. They're boring. They waste their time creating these things.
Yeah.
But obviously, I meant it in a different way. But
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's good. Was there anything? Oh, yeah, I don't know. Don't know I don't know where to go with this, to be honest. But let's try some of the categories. Were there any questions that you thought it asked or answered?
I mean, I think the main question is, yeah, just about that kind of, yeah, like control and central control and freedom and yeah, what is
Yeah.
freedom? That's what they're getting at. But again, yeah, for me, it's not really, it's not a deep film. It's not asking
No,
those big questions. But yeah, for me, it
no.
is fun.
Yeah.
So I presume where if you would think you're swapping out something from today, it would just be the DVD that you watched.
It's a different film. Well, no, actually, like, funny enough, I just put the actors, the story, and the special effects. So, you know,
Just
completely
covering the
different.
basics. Just yeah, if we could just change everything about it, then I think it would be quite good.
Yeah. Just really, yeah, didn't fall in love with it as well. Was there
What
anything that you would have?
are
Hang
there
on.
sci what type of sci-fi movies do you like? Are you a sci-fi fan, or is it the genre, or
Yeah, I don't mind the sci-fi. I did actually think, have you seen Cowboy Bebop, the TV
yeah,
series?
yeah.
Yeah, so I thought that was a good comparison to this because although that is a TV series, but you had the Firefly things. I thought, oh, similar. That I thought was very good. They set up the characters nicely there. There's good action. It is different because it's a TV series, so it's a lot longer. So
Mm.
I was trying not to compare it too much because it's a bit unfair. But that's good, and I thought that's a very similar genre to this, and I think that's done very well. I don't know. Did you think that's good? Have you seen that series?
Yeah, I've only seen bits and pieces. I don't think I've watched sort of a full episode, but
Okay.
I know about it. And yeah,
Yeah.
obviously, yeah, it does come from Firefly, and
Yeah.
yeah, sort of yeah, the sort of the more advanced, not advanced, but like the more kind of drawn out storyline that you can have in a TV series rather than in the
Yeah.
film. So yeah, no, yeah, it's interesting that it wouldn't even be. I mean, yeah, that it wouldn't even be kind of good enough to go and watch Firefly now. I think is interesting.
Yeah. I know that was the thing. I was thinking, do I actually go and watch it? I was like, the thing is, even if I watch it, I like Firefly, it's not going to make me want to watch this film again. That's the thing. I just don't think there's enough in the film yeah, just wasn't good for me. What about you? Was there anything that you'd swap out? You'd be
No,
getting
I think
more film within a film
yeah,
within a film within a film.
just
Yeah.
there's a couple of layers of narrative arc that I think they should add in. No, I think it's yeah, it's quite fun. Like being the space western, I think
Yeah.
is quite fun. So yeah, I mean, I think it's of its time. Although yeah, watching it, I didn't think the special effects I didn't think were too bad. I mean, obviously it's
No.
2005, so there's a few of them. I mean, it's no Free Jack, but it's yeah. No, I thought they kind of stood up well enough, and because it is sort of supposed to be quite dated anyway, and almost like in that sort of yeah way where you have it in the future, but it's actually sort of a sort of yeah like an old style.
Yeah.
Then I think that sort of that lets it kind of get away with that a bit more, I guess.
Yeah. 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 I don't know. What about what character would you like to be then?
Yeah, I do quite like Mal as I think for the first
Yeah.
time
Look at you.
I'd take the lead. If you gonna put me as one of the crew, yeah,
Yeah.
I think got more of him than maybe the others. Were you just were you just a side character?
I yeah, I was the guy that died in the first scene. So then it's done and dusted. I don't have to watch anymore.
First day of shooting, you just you fall on the
Done.
sword, you're out.
Yeah, exactly. In and out, done.
So you didn't think there were any good lines? But
yeah, it's funny actually.
no.
You say I was just about to say this that I think there were a lot of opportunities because you said there were some good one-liners. I feel like there's a lot of opportunities where they missed opportunities for good one-liners. Like when they're having the fight scene at the end and they're on that platform and they're trying to get the backup. There were so many opportunities for some great one-liners there, and they didn't delve into it. And I was like, are they doing this deliberately because they don't want it to be, that sort of film, or is the writing just that bad? It was tough. It was difficult for me to decide which of those two it was. Did you have good lines then you came up with?
Yeah, there's a few I think that go through it. I think when he's fighting with the doctor and he says I hear the words "that's final" come out of your mouth again. They truly will be. I thought that was a good one.
Yeah.
I like when he's again when he's with Inara and she's sort of saying, well, I've seen so many different versions of you, and they sort of start talking about him being sort of when he's at war. And he says, oh, if I start fighting a war, I guarantee you'll see something new, which then, does happen, right? When he then is like, okay, I have to go to war with these people and after Haven and decides to put the bodies on the ship and, he goes a level again. I think like he's sort of not bumbling, but he's kind of like, quite chilled and laid back and funny. And then when things get serious, then I think you do see him be like, okay, I was in a war and I did do things and I'm going to do that again. So I think Mal gets most of the best lines. Yeah, I do think it's funny when they're saying right at the end, do you think any of us are really going to get through this? And Jane is just like, well, I might.
That actually was good. I did appreciate that. That was a good line.
Yeah, there's a few like Jane has quite a few of the good one-liners in Firefly. Yeah. There's a great in the TV series, there's a great moment where he decides to start wearing a hat for some reasons, and everyone's sort of mocking him. And Mal says, "Well, the time of me underestimating you is certainly coming to a middle." I think that's quite quite good. Nice. But that's in the TV series rather than the movie, which I didn't actually remember that it was in there rather than when I watched the movie.
I feel like this is going to be moving down the list, so we're not going to get there yet. But that's what I'm putting a mid part 2 prediction in.
Well, I mean, obviously the reviews, there's in the 3-star reviews, there's not many of the actual fans, so there's a lot of 5-star reviews of everyone. One of them which I actually thought was going to be what you kind of thought, which was silly and compelling in equal measure, but obviously not.
That's a bit right.
Yeah, exactly. Disappointed initially. It just took me ages to get into. I will be giving it another try in the future though. I thought that could be one that could apply to you, but not anymore.
Definitely. I mean, I've only just watched it. It's very fresh, so I don't think I could watch it again anytime soon. But maybe I could give it another go another time.
There were a couple of titles that I thought were very good. The sci-fi film that has divided the nation. I feel like they're over-egging that a little bit.
That.
Someone said A+, and that was their review, but then have given it 3 stars, which is a bit weird.
Well, that's just a damning indictment of the current university system, isn't it? That you basically, or school system, you get an A star, but actually that's really only still worth 3 stars. Everyone gets A stars now.
It's all levels now. So it's so someone inexplicably put, I like my movies, still haven't received Flight of the Navigator, and that's
a better movie.
Yeah. So. And then, the first time I saw it, I was disappointed. It just wasn't as much fun as the show. But after watching it again, I enjoyed it more. Because I thought that like you might be a little ambivalent, and then like on a second watch, you'd maybe it would go up. But obviously, I was over egging it. I think one time when you come over, I'm gonna have to put on Empire of the Sun and this, and we'll see how you make it through.
Work orange. I'll just be stuck strapped in a chair.
It'll be exactly like that. Funnily enough, someone did actually write, I don't think it will ever make a classic 100 films, which I was like, oh, that's a bit meta.
Yeah. Well, it shouldn't. It
And
should be
then,
making the top 50 or close to.
well, yeah,
Yeah.
top 60, so it's fine. And then, funnily enough, I realized that my German's still really coming along with,
Oh, yeah,
with
nice.
two reviews. One for fans, okay, which, I understand
Okay.
that. And then
Nice.
the other one, Nick So Good VD Siri, which, I kind of understand that
Yeah.
as well. So my
Yeah.
my understanding of German still
Yeah.
just
You
there.
might,
Is
dude,
it
you have to
actually a
get
different
you.
language? Is it just the same language, or am I turning into some sort of Rosetta Stone type? I just
Yeah.
understand all languages now. Nick's
Yeah,
so good.
something's happened. Yeah,
Yeah,
you've now just got everything going. Yeah.
yeah. Maybe it is. So yeah, those were it. For the algo. Then,
Yes.
did you put Empire of the
Mm.
Sun? I think you should have gone for it.
I should have done, shouldn't I? I mean, this does sit very close to Empire of the Sun in my list. No, I mean, I was struggling to think about the things that would be similar to that sci-fi cowboy scenario. And Cowboy Bebop really was the only thing I could think of, but it was TV, so but I wasn't. Yeah, I couldn't really think of anything else, and I think I didn't want to think about comparing this to anything either. I think that's the other thing. I didn't want to spend any more time thinking about this film, and
The
that's what I came
algo
up
has
with.
done similarly, where it said
Yeah,
it's both like Star Trek and Star Wars, which
yeah.
I think is an instant disqualification
Is
because
it right?
no, just because you can't say that Star Trek and Star Wars are the same thing. So
Yeah. Okay.
the
So I
algo
win by
loses,
default.
yeah, just
Great.
by default,
Yeah.
because you can't say
Oh.
that Star Wars and Star Trek are the same thing.
There's
So
definitely a lot of similarities in Star Wars, I think, with
yeah,
this
there's
film.
the Evil
Yeah, yeah,
Empire
yeah.
and stuff like that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, exactly.
yeah,
And then the colors that they wear and stuff, all of that sort of things, and the
yeah.
ships, definitely.
Because it's a Han Solo movie, but with a better Han Solo movie than Solo.
I'm gonna watch Solo this week and then tell you what I think next
Okay,
in next week's podcast of whether I think
brilliant.
Solo's better than this.
You do that because I'm not going to, and actually, funnily enough, it will really fit into next week's podcast. Us talking about
Okay.
Solo. So
Yeah, perfect. All right. So it's number 56. Please tell me it's falling substantially down.
no, so
Where is
I
it?
looked at the other placements of where it could go. Where's open, and I did I
What have
did
we got?
think. Well, so at the moment, one of them is actually 63, which would put it in between Fellowship of the Ring and Philadelphia.
Are you
Again,
kidding me? You
wow,
can't.
there's
Yeah,
I still enjoyed it. I still think I still think
more
it's a
than
very watchable
Philadelphia.
movie. I mean, I'd probably choose to watch this film again before I
Well,
rewatch
no, but
Philadelphia.
no. But,
From a rewatchability point of view, yeah, no, and then that sort of puts it below My Neighbor Totoro and
wow.
Fellowship of the Ring. Actually, 61's available as well. But yeah, so I thought I would just drop it down a few places to 63, just to go to go through it. Clearly, you were expecting either it to come off my list
I was hoping it was going to come off,
wow.
and
Wow.
we could have just filled it with silence. That's what could have taken its place.
So the big question is this bottom? I guess is the big question because of how much you didn't
Yeah.
like this film.
Well, I mean, there were still some good bits in it. The fight scenes with River were very good. I did enjoy those. And I don't think anything's ever gonna. I mean, it's gonna really have to go something to get into that bottom three of looking for Eric once and the visitor. I mean that is a
Okay, so it's not
trilogy.
got relegation.
No, trilogy of just pain and misery. That really is. And I never thought I'd say that when I first watched Juliet Naked. I really didn't think that would survive relegation, but it has. So Serenity, I've got in as 41 from 45, so definitely the bad section.
Wow.
Just below Murderer's Camp, so spring, summer, fall, winter, and spring, and above Juliet Naked. So
Wow.
firmly in the bad section. Yeah,
Wow.
I would not want to
So
watch this again.
Empire of the Sun still made it a bit higher.
30, Empire of the Sun is 39. Yeah, it's a couple of places higher. Empire of the Sun, yeah, was you're right. It should have been one that I really liked, but I didn't like that. This is just too long. I really wanted to stop it. I was so annoyed that I had to watch the whole film. I
Well,
hated it.
dedication. The millions of
Oh.
fans appreciate
Yeah,
you sticking with it.
yeah. I'm glad. Thanks, Steve. Yeah.
On the merch in the shop this week is "I'm with Kev." Serenity's rubbish T-shirt is now available. So yeah, head over to the website for that. But
Yeah.
it's surprising. I mean,
Didn't see that.
it's got a very cult following. It's got
Yeah.
like the extended universe is an IP of itself now, still going strong.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's surprising that okay. Yeah, just
No,
obviously just the
we'll sit
pacing
down and
is out.
we'll sit down and watch it again. You think at some point in the future, you think about it from a bad point, and I'll think about it from a good point, and we'll see where we land again.
Yeah.
Maybe
Yeah.
we'll have to do.
I mean, just moves quite quickly. I would say that, funnily enough, one thing that I forgot to say is actually the OT bar ad that triggers River.
Yeah.
Netflix used to have the same impact on my daughter. I think actually, if she watched too much Netflix animation, then then she would go not quite that crazy and not a homicidal rage, but she would definitely be very angry and very upset. And we often do sort of say, we can't do Netflix. It's like the ad from Serenity, and we do make that reference. So that's still there. So wow. That's
Been for some better stuff next week. Really.
Well, you know what, we've been on a decent run. I feel like this is kind of, it's a bit of a sharpness still for you to know that we're not always aligned. So this I think
I got
sort
too
of stops
comfortable.
This stops you from getting too comfortable again.
Yeah, exactly. Enjoying life.
And,
don't.
You were being too positive. You were enjoying yourself too much. So there's got to be one in there every now and again. Yeah, well, for next week, literally in my brain, there's so many different quotes that could be there. I'll stick with the classic, which is, "He's not the Messiah. He's a very naughty boy." And for people of a certain age, maybe that's going to mean something. For everyone else, it's not going to mean anything at all. But we'll see next week when we have a returning guest as well for that, so we can see if the youths have an opinion on that type of quote. So well, thank you for sitting through it, for making it through. I appreciate it. We appreciate the brown coats salute you, the podcast listeners salute you. Thank you to Tom Miller for the theme song. Any parting word that you want?
No, just no one watched this film. It's awful.
And with that, we'll close up the shop and go and have a beer with Darth Vader.
Yeah.
We'll see you next week.